Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So this is Parag Datkar from Constel. I'm the product lead here, and we are going to present about in the category of digital transformation innovation that Constel has created in the space of data center connectivity. So Constel is part of the Space World group, which is like a 2-decade-old group having multiple companies across different sectors. And Constel is the latest entity in this group, which started like 3 years ago and into the connectivity space. So we are a pan-India carrier-neutral connectivity provider, and we are, the mission is to connect all the major data center and AI data centers specifically across the country with each other to provide an AI-ready fiber network. And this is built on express routes, which are very unique in the industry and purpose built for this kind of network to enable the AI infrastructure in India. So that's the whole objective of Constant. And we partner with all the leading hyperscalers, neoscalers, telcos, the leading telcos in the country, data center operators, ISPs, OTT platforms, and CDNs, as well as the upcoming satellite communication providers like Kuiper and all. And we are building these custom networks for a very, very scalable, high speed, and reliable connectivity for all of these different segments of the communication industry. So Space World, as I said, has four group companies and into different segments, and has a roughly $200 million of assets under management, roughly $75 million of revenue so far, with a strong, healthy EBITDA of $35 million. And as I said, Space World, the Constel is the latest entity in this group. So the problem statement in our current context of why Constel started was about the DCI infrastructure in the country. So data center interconnect infrastructure in India is a real problem today because the existing networks that have been there for the last 2 or 3 decades of the various telcos, they were never designed for AI data center or data center connectivity in mind. They were primarily designed for reaching out to different public places and consumers, but not essentially meant for DC to DC connectivity. So, which is the gap we are trying to fill. And the key issues with these networks, these legacy networks, that the routing was not optimal. The routes that were created were essentially to connect, as I said, uh, consumer locations, but not directly from data center to data center. That's why suboptimal routing and hence higher latency. The bandwidth was not very scalable because for consumer networks, the bandwidth requirements are low. Whereas in case of data centers and AI data centers, to be precise, the bandwidth utilization is of a much higher scale. So multiples of 100 gigs and 400 gigs is what is required. Whereas the erstwhile networks were designed for, say, few hundred megs or few gigs of connectivity, which was another big gap. And also, this kind of infrastructure for data centers requires a very, very resilient network so that uh, there is a near 100% availability. So the erstwhile networks, the legacy networks, was also not designed for the resilience that was required for this kind of infrastructure. And also the existing infrastructure has been like 20 to 25 years old. So as the fiber ages, the losses increase, and that also reduces the performance of the network itself. So that's why, to cover all of these gaps, Constel was created, and I'll cover that what kind of innovation we are doing, that fills this gap exactly. So if we see the India's AI infrastructure economy is on the exponential growth path, with all the major hyperscalers like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta have committed a very huge, large scale, commitments in this domain, and they are setting up AI specific data centers in India, and that requires the equivalent infrastructure to be built that will connect these data centers with each other, as well as connect these data centers to other major hubs like satellite earth stations or cable landing stations or other major telco hubs, etc., which is what we are trying to create as part of Constel. So the opportunity is huge as the numbers are presenting, and Constel is positioned to exactly fulfill this gap. So we are not a generic telco that will connect any and every consumer and large enterprise as such. Our focus is purely to connect, and we're a very limited you know uh, uh, I would say the focus is purely on data center to data center connectivity. And the issues that I had mentioned in the previous slide, those are the specific gaps that we are trying to fulfill. So we have also already tested 800 gig client interface that we are ready to provide. So it covers the bandwidth scale that is required for DC to DC connectivity, and we are providing carrier neutral infrastructure. That means we can provide to any and every telco carrier also that wants to connect these data centers with each other. Erstwhile networks were built for carriers built their networks for their own captive use. However, Constel positioning is different, and we can provide to both telcos as well as to data center operators as well as to hyperscalers. So we are carrier neutral, and this network was built on specific lowest latency routes. So the earlier infrastructure was, as I said, it had suboptimal routing, so there were longer paths. But we have created new fiber path, which is providing the shortest distance between the any pair of data centers in India. So that is the the constant positioning in the market. So there are certain things that we are building in terms of the overall infrastructure. So we have already have close to 15,000 plus kilometers of active fiber across the country. We have already connected Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Pune. These are the major destinations that are already connected on our network, including uh, fibers within these metro cities, as well as connecting these major DC hubs with each other on different diverse routes. So
Mr.
that is,
Parag,
yeah,
just
this
a
is
prompt.
Parag.
You have 2 minutes left.
Okay, okay, sure. And we are connected, already connected 100 data centers in the country. We have the shortest route between Mumbai and Chennai, which is 14.4 milliseconds, as compared to roughly 18 to 20 milliseconds of other telecom providers. Krypton is a very unique digital platform which is API first, cloud native, and AI ready, which gives the customers the transparency and all the visibility and the dashboards across their network services. We have reduced the MTTR, which is due to our own in-house operations and services, and some optimization and automation features on the operations side, and thus the network performance is improved. As you can see, up to 86% fewer network events due to this automation that we have created. So our uniqueness in terms of network design, as I said, we follow routes which are the shortest paths between any two data centers, and thus reduces the hops. And the latency due to the shorter route is lowest. The fiber is the newest and deeper laid fiber, which enables better fiber efficiency as well as network performance. And we are carrier neutral, as I said, and O&M is in-house as compared to outsource O&M by typically followed by the traditional telcos. So this is a quick summary of where we are present in terms of media coverage. So we have just released a white paper which was authored by Omdia, which covers Constel. We also had media coverage of the first India's first 1 Tbps transmission that we had tested on a long haul network between Mumbai and Chennai, which was also in the media coverage. And as I said, the what is the social impact of this network creation? One, it is open access, so anybody can take connectivity from Constel. We are not building it as a captive network. It has a national impact because we are in a way enabling the AI economy, which is in turn going to facilitate across different industry segments, whether it's financial, government services, agriculture, and everything, because AI is here to stay, and we are enabling this entire AI ecosystem and what runs the infrastructure on which the AI runs. And it also has a greener impact because we have laid the fiber deeper than the traditional telcos, so it reduces the number of cuts, and hence there is it reduces the energy, so low energy impact is there. So these are the key highlights of the innovation that we have created in terms of DC to DC infrastructure creation. So yeah.
Team Constel, very well presented. Now we'll move on to question and answer round.
Sure.
Jules, we are open to question.
One of the things like can you just tell us what are the specific innovations? We got like you have laid the complete infrastructure, but can you just highlight what are the specific innovation compared to your competitors from a
So
technology
specific
perspective?
From technology perspective, specific innovation is in the routing design. So as I said, the traditional telco infrastructure, let's say if somebody had to go from Mumbai to Chennai, all the traditional telcos fiber is going via either Hyderabad or via Bangalore, which is close to around 1800 kilometers. Whereas we have laid a direct route which doesn't go via Hyderabad and Bangalore. It goes in a straight line path. So we have created at a 1450 kilometers. So there's definitely a
Okay,
reduction of
that's not
300 to
innovation,
400
right? That's
kilometers.
basically, but that cannot be called as innovation, right? If I build a
I
road
understand.
via versus I state, we are talking about specific innovations compared to
So
competitors.
So specific innovation is also in terms of the latest technology equipment that we have deployed. So we are already 800 gig interface ready, which nobody has done. We were the first one in the
Are they your own? No, no, no. Innovation, are they your own?
So our own innovation in terms of, see, there are multiple layers, in which we provide the connectivity to the customer. So one is the physical layer, which is the fiber. Then there is equipment layer, which provides the bandwidth services. And then on top of it, there is a digital layer, which is our Krypton platform, which is a very unique platform, which provides the instantaneous reports to the customer. There is a complete visibility to the customer for all their network parameters, generally no telco provides, and it gives them the entire flexibility to order their services, to view their services, their service performance, their invoices. It's an end-to-end service,
It's a
self-service
software layer
platform
you're
that is
talking.
given. It's a
Is it a
software
software
layer.
layer you're talking?
Yes, so
But
that
I
is
think
a
Geo also
completely
they
inbuilt, in-house built
Geo and other,
application.
but no, Geo and other people also provide a lot of value-added services on top of that.
I understand. However, in terms of connectivity, see, those are primarily built for end user customers. So that is very common across the industry that end user services will have a self-service portal. However, for enterprise services and to this scale, this is quite an innovation that no one else is providing the amount of information that we are able to provide on the self-service portal. So that is a true innovation, along with the the network design and how the network is purpose built for DC to DC connectivity, which is
Just to add
typically,
on,
yeah.
yeah,
I
just
think
to add
that's
on,
from
Mr.
my side
Sonar.
because let
Yeah,
other juries speak. Yeah.
just one point to add on to your question. So internet, most of the traffic of internet typically runs through subsea cables, right? Uh, we as Constel not just connect the data center to data center. That's the primary value proposition. At the same time, most of the traffic in India lands
Yeah, I
problem
think
that
that's done from my side. Let other
okay,
juries ask
yeah,
question. We
sure,
have a very
yeah,
short span of time. Yeah, please.
yeah, sure, please, thank you.
No questions from my side.
Likewise here. Thank you.
Okay, I think then you can briefly, continue what you left with. Yeah.
Sure,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
so it
Uh,
essentially covered the entire gist of what Constel is all about, and how it is important in the AI infrastructure in India that is growing exponentially, and why without it AI cannot really reach the levels that everyone would want to. So
But will you
that's
pass on
essentially
this
what I
cost
want to say.
advantage to the customers? Because you are
Definitely,
saying, okay, you are saying, somebody is going like this, I'm going straight. That's what my cost
definitely,
will be less or something.
definitely yes.
Or
So
you will have a toll, like, if you're moving by expressway from Mumbai to
no,
Pune, you have to pay toll, right? Because you want
no,
to
no, no,
travel.
not
Abhi
like
naya
that.
to aa gaya na, missing link. They will also charge you. I'm just,
No, no,
yeah,
not
okay.
like that. So while it is not that we are relying primarily on pricing advantage, we are pricing our services on based of our values. But at the same time, our prices are quite competitive to the traditional telcos as well. So and it's not really that I we are just riding on price as a new entrant. So we are
Have you
providing
filed the
value as
patents?
well as
Have you
no,
filed the patents for your innovation?
no,
So how
not
you
yet.
are protecting your innovations then?
See, in case of telecom industry, most of the equipment is provided by OEMs, and the telecom service providers provide the equipment, the infrastructure, fiber layer, as well as the end user services. So it's a mix of multiple things that give the entire end-to-end usability experience to the customer. So it is not just about what kind of equipment anybody provides or what kind of fiber somebody lays, but it's the end-to-end experience in terms of from ordering to post-service, post-sales experience. So including the digital platform to do all the things, the entire life cycle on it digitally is what we are providing. However, it is not yet patented, but it's in still a very unique experience that no other traditional telcos are providing.
Right. And Mr. Sonar, another point is that, in this kind of category, the barriers to entry is pretty much high, right? Because laying down the fiber infrastructure throughout the country is a very
Hey, that's
capex
okay,
heavy decision,
Ishanji, I
right? So,
understand. But as a
yeah,
jury, we have certain, categories
right.
of the evaluation, so we have to ask the questions based on,
Absolutely. Yes.
whatever evaluation. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Not from my side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
All the
All
best.
right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Team